Today's video is sponsored by me, Jason Akers. I know a lot of YouTubers and content creators are placing ad breaks in their videos these days in order to make ends meet. And I understand why, but all my videos are created by me, paid for by me. I buy my own cameras, editing software, microphones. I spend hours of time recording and editing the videos for you, my audience. I don't like a lot of self-promotion, but I wanted to take the time to let you know about the ways you can help support the videos and my content. I have a large list of links in every description of every video I provide you with. All of the pesticides I use in my business are listed on my Amazon page. When I started my business, I used Amazon a lot in order to receive my chemicals and equipment the next day delivery. It's a service that I trust, so I list pesticides there for you to find. I also have several affiliate links listed for B&G products and pesticides as well. My course on bedbugs is the #1 course on Udemy's website that goes over extensive treatment methods on the control of bedbugs, from automobile treatment to living room and even bedrooms as well. If you have checked all of those links and still wish to support me, I have a PayPal, Patreon, and other ways to donate to the channel in the links on my main page of YouTube, as well as in the description of every one of my videos. As always, the best way to support me at what means the most to me is if you will like this video, if you will share this video with your friends, and if you will subscribe to my channel. That honestly means the most to me, and that's what keeps me going, truly. More than money, more than anything else, is just keeping you guys happy and keeping you with the content that you like to have. Speaking of subscribing, I also have a join button at the top of my YouTube channel as well. This feature is new with YouTube and works in much the same way as a Twitch subscription works. When you hit this button and join the channel, it gives you special features that only joining the channel can give. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. I look forward to reading your comments in the comment section below, giving me any suggestions you might have for the next video. So don't forget, like and subscribe, and on with the show. Hey everybody, it's Jason Akers with Akers Pest Control. Hope everybody's having a good Thursday. How are y'all doing? Everybody doing all right? Hope everybody's doing okay. I'm doing okay. Everybody ready for the weekend coming up here? Oh, man. So, not very many people here yet. Try to wait along till more people kind of fly in here. Oh, see what's going on over here. Let's do that, and then there we go. I am ready for the weekend by Monday morning. You work over the weekend, kid you? I work all the time. I'm always working. You have 4 kids, you're always working. Whether you're making money or not. Let's see here. What has been going on? When treating with Crossfire, do you spray it directly on the bed and the furniture? Then do you have to clean it off
any certain way before sitting back on the furniture? So I got a question like that on my YouTube comments, and the answer is treat your furniture, let it dry, don't clean it off. It won't hurt you. So you treat your mattress, box spring, sofa, lazy boy recliner, love seats, sleeper sofas, all that stuff gets treated, let it dry, and then you can use it that day as long as it's dry. You can put your sheets back on your bed and lay on it that night. In fact, I recommend people do that in order to kill the bed bugs. Why should I not use mattress enclosures with Crossfire? You shouldn't use mattress encasements if you're trying to get rid of bed bugs. Because if you treat your mattress with a pesticide and then you cover the pesticide up with a mattress encasement, how are the bed bugs going to crawl over a treated surface? You've essentially covered up what you just did. So bed bugs don't always live on the mattress. They can live on the mattress. They don't always live on the mattress. And so what happens is you treat your mattress, the bed bugs come into contact with the mattress, they come into contact with the treated surface, and they die. If the bed bugs are living on the mattress, it kills the bed bugs on the mattress. So it's important to not use mattress encasements if you're treating your mattress. The only time I recommend using it's 2 weeks in a row I can't get rid of this stupid cough. But it's important that when you treat a mattress that you don't cover it up. You can use sheets, bed sheets, stuff like that. That won't matter. That's not completely encasing. So let me, I've done this before, but I'm going to go ahead and do this again. Let's see here. All right. Let's see. Can I get this thing to work? I had it working last week. So let me see. Two, three. All right. Let's see here. This is going to work? Yep, it is. All right. So if you've got a bed, let's see here. All right. Mattress. And you got a box spring. Some people just have a foundation. Some people have a box spring. Some people don't have a foundation or box spring at all. And you got your bed right here. And your headboard, footboard. Alright. And then you got your bed rails that hold everything together. Sometimes you have a side right here. Alright. And then you got a bed leg like that. And bed leg right here. Okay. So you treat when the bed bug, let's say the bed bug's not on the bed. Let's say the bed bug's over here like behind a baseboard. Alright. And there's your floor. Well, he comes over and he's like do. And then, all right, so this area right here is treated. All right, so he comes into contact with this spot. There's one. Then he crawls up here. There's two. He crawls up here onto the mattress. That's three. Of course, he's crawling on the bed frame and stuff too. And then he goes into the mattress like this. So the point is that let's say this is covered up with a sheet, like a sheet like this. All right. So now the bed bug can't actually come into contact with this treated surface because there's a sheet over top of it. Oh no, well he's not going to come into contact with that treated mattress anyway, is he? Well, no, that's not true. Because sometimes after a bed bug is fed, they actually go down, then they go between the mattress and box spring and actually live here once they get a blood meal. And so the mattress on the bottom, because you know when you put a fitted sheet on a bed, if you look at the bottom of the mattress where the fitted sheet is, there's usually, it only goes around like there's an area like this. So the fitted sheet is covered this part, but then this part here is all exposed mattress. And the bed bug will actually go in from the top, and he'll go in and he'll go actually into here between the box spring and the mattress, and then he's squeezed between the two surfaces. So you can use your sheets like you normally would, and you can cover up your mattress, but if you use a total mattress encasement, the whole thing is complete covered. And most people will actually put an encasement on the mattress and the box spring, and then they'll actually live on the encasement and they won't die. So I don't recommend using encasements for that reason, because you're covering up a treated surface, and it's going to be much more effective if you don't cover up a treated surface that you want the bed bugs to come into contact with. And this is not just with Crossfire. This is with any pesticide that's labeled to be used on mattresses and box springs. You don't want to cover them up so that the bed bugs can come into contact with the actual chemical itself. You want them to be exposed to as much of the pesticide as possible. This will make it more effective to get rid of your problem. So I have to answer that question, I feel like, at least once a week. Judah says, Crossfire is an excellent product. It really does work. Yeah, it does. Hi, Jason. I'm trying to call the number, but it is not working. No, it is not. The number is not on just yet. I usually wait a few minutes before answering phone calls. I answer a couple questions first, and then I'll open the phone lines. I don't have a button that says lines are now open. It's just always there like that. Let's see. I got a hold of Apprehend. Need advice on how to effectively use it. Crossfire stopped working for me. Apprehend, I can't give you advice on Apprehend. I've never used it. I know it's a difficult pesticide to use. If you go to Apprehend's website, so let's see, show you here. If you go Apprehend, let's see, is that the right website there? Thought that was a website. And then you go to treatment, I think. They used to have videos on here showing how to use the product. Resources, training. Let's see, for the Apprehend training series and more, visit our YouTube channel. So they have a YouTube channel on Apprehend, how to use it, how to mix it, how to put it in the machinery, the proper machinery you want to use, because it doesn't work in just a regular sprayer. You have to actually get this special type of extension wand and treatment system and stuff like this. This is how you apply it. Kind of looks like you're going to use a paint sprayer, that's kind of how it works. And then they show you how to apply it to the bed and everything. So I recommend going to their website. If you're going to use Apprehend, I'll actually post the link in the chat for you so that you can use it, because I've never used it. I don't want to tell you, I don't want to pretend I know how to use it. I've never used it. I don't use it mainly because there are examples of this specific the chemical that's in this pesticide actually causing allergic skin reactions. So I haven't used it yet. Not yet, but I might in the future, and if I do, I'll make a video on how to use it or how I use it. So anyway, that's Apprehend. So I'm going to go ahead and open the phone lines since I have been on here for about 15-16 minutes. I have to leave my Skype closed because if I don't, it rings off the hook all the time. Does not stop ringing. People call it all the time, but the line's never open unless I'm actually live. I've seen the videos, just double checking for extra advice. Yes, that's what I'd recommend doing that. But you do need their system. So if you're going to use Apprehend, you do actually need to get this product right here. So this sprayer kit, it's a low volume sprayer kit. It's designed to use it not be too heavily used. So you use just the right amount. It's just the right amount so that you don't kill the spore. And it's fairly expensive to buy this actual kit. It's another reason why I don't go over it because the Crossfire is so effective. How quickly would they become immune to Crossfire? I've never had them become immune to Crossfire before. In fact, people that recommend people that say that they're immune to Crossfire. I believe they're either not mixing it correctly, because there is a certain finesse to mixing Crossfire. It's a thick, goopy mess, and it is, harder to mix than other chemicals. Or they are maybe not mixing enough, not trying to cut it, because Crossfire. So if you go to, let's go to my YouTube channel. All right. And, there's the phone lines. Let's answer this phone line real quick. Hold on just a minute. My audio has gotten all messed up. But I am on the phone. I'm just trying to get it fixed. There we go. Can you hear me?
No worries. Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I had to change all my settings, and I forgot about Skype because Skype wasn't open. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking my call. And
well, thank you for calling. What's your question?
Yeah, so I recently moved into my first apartment, and I woke up 2 days later with bites on my body. I found a bug, and then I reported it to my landlord. The pest company came out, and they found the bed bugs in my box spring. Now, I've never had bed bugs in my life. I came from my mom's house. She still does not have them to this day. And they came and they sprayed 2 times. And I've been sleeping there for the past week, and everything's been okay. I haven't been getting any bites. But I go to steam my luggage, and then I see one coming out of it because my luggage was open the whole time while they were treating the apartment. And I wanted to ask you what I should do.
What did they treat your apartment with? Do you know?
Yes, I have it here actually. So they used Onslaught.
Yep.
They used Dentrol IGR concentrate.
Okay.
And they used Delta Dust.
Okay. So Delta Methrin and Onslaught. And the Gentrol doesn't matter. That doesn't work on bed bugs anyway. A lot of exterminators will use it. It's an IGR, but it doesn't work. Not on bed bugs. But there are exterminators that swear by it. They say, oh, no, it works. But they've actually proven it doesn't work. But as far as Onslaught's a synthetic pyrethroid, and so is Delta Dust. Delta Methrin is what's in Delta Dust. And so they probably used that in the wall outlets. More than likely, you didn't have dust around inside your apartment, did you? You didn't see like dust on the baseboards or anything like that, did you?
When I moved in, I mean, it wasn't the cleanest. It's a pretty old building. But when I came back,
after they sprayed, like after they actually treated with bug spray.
No, I didn't see any dust.
Yeah, so they dusted in the wall. What they did was they actually dusted inside the wall of your apartment. So what you do is you take off the outlet covers, light switch plates, stuff like that, and you dust in the wall with a dust. That's usually what they'll do with like Delta Methrin. And man, that's okay and all. Usually people will use a dust in the wall. And then they sprayed with Onslaught, which isn't a horrible pesticide, but it will chase the bed bugs around because synthetic pyrethroid. So synthetic pyrethroids are very highly repellent to bed bugs. So they don't like to hang out around them. They like to try to escape and get away from them. And so it's possible that if they didn't treat your luggage, that's why the bed bugs got in your luggage. So like if your luggage bags were there, the bed bugs probably ran to try to get out of whatever it is they sprayed and ran to the luggage for safety, if you understand what I'm saying. But you said were you steaming? Did you say you were steaming your luggage, like steam cleaning it?
Yes, because I've been, going crazy doing research, and that's the one thing that I saw was get a steamer and it'll kill the bed bugs if they're on anything, like your clothes or in your bag. So, I wasn't living in the apartment when they were treating it because I think they treated about 7 days apart. I was staying at my mom's house, and then I came back and I moved, some of my stuff back in, and I was just cleaning up, and then I was steaming it, and I saw it like scramble in the luggage trying to get away from the steam.
Yeah, they'll do that. They'll run from heat and stuff too. So that's one reason I don't recommend people do heat treatments is because it makes the bed bugs run all over the place. It makes them crazy, drives them nuts. because they're constantly trying to get out of it. Just like if you were to go outside and it was like 120 degrees, you're going to go back inside. You're going to try to get out of the heat. You're going to try to get to where it's more comfortable. And bed bugs are the same way. They're not going to just sit there and cook to death. They're going to try to get out of the heat. And so, have you watched very many of my videos?
I've watched a lot of your videos.
So, have you tried buying a pesticide yourself? When's the last time they sprayed?
Oh my gosh. The last time they sprayed, I want to say it was around 2 weeks ago. I'm not too sure. Somewhere around 2 weeks ago.
And you haven't? Have you been bit since they sprayed, or you just saw that one live one?
I just saw that one live one, but the thing is, I've been going crazy. I can't sleep with those things. I mean, I know I've watched your video that it's just a bug, but I can't get over it. So what I bought like a mosquito net, which like pops up and you put it on top of your bed, and I put my bedding inside there, so it's like a zip up.
Right.
Mosquito
Like
net,
a little tent for your bed.
Exactly, and it's been giving me sanity and helping me sleep better. And then I also bought those traps that go on the feet of your bed frame.
Now, see,
and then I bought
if you were to treat with Crossfire, you'd have to take that stuff off of your bed, like the actual. I mean, you could leave the net on the bed; that would be fine. But you would want to remove the interceptors off of your bed legs, because you want the bed bugs to be able to, like I was just showing in that little drawing I did, you want the bed bugs to come into contact with the treated surfaces, and as many treated surfaces as they can come in contact with, the faster you'll kill your bed bug problem. Because you can treat just one general area, and the bed bugs that crawl through that will eventually die, but they're not going to die as effectively as if they were to come into contact with 5, 6, 7 different treated surfaces. They'll die a lot faster. So when you treat with something like I usually recommend people treat with Crossfire. The pesticides that they just use cheap chemicals. It's a lot cheaper than Crossfire. That's why a lot of exterminators don't use Crossfire. It's because Crossfire is probably one of the most expensive chemicals on the market right now per volume. If you take Onslaught, you can mix a whole gallon of Onslaught with just 1 ounce to a gallon, and you typically buy it in little pint containers. And so you figure 1 ounce to a gallon, you can make out of a pint, you can mix 16 gallons. And so that's a lot of pesticide. That's more than they would need to use in your apartment. They could use that to treat for months, many apartments, houses, and everything. And so it makes the company a lot more money. They don't have to put as much into it. But when you take 13 ounces of Crossfire, goes into 1 gallon, and 1 gallon of Crossfire mixes 128 ounces in a gallon. And so you can mix 10 gallons off of 1 bottle, and it costs over $400 for a gallon bottle of Crossfire. So you're gonna that's a lot more money. You're gonna spend a lot more money treating houses with Crossfire than you will with something cheaper. And if the cheap stuff works, and you don't have to use Crossfire. And there are houses that you can go into, like I could go into today, and I can use a perithrin, and it'll still work, and it'll still kill bed bugs. But I don't want to run the risk that if I go in one and it doesn't work, then I have to go back. I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to have to use Crossfire then, and then you have to run into how many days am I going to have to wait after I treated with this perithrin that I'm going to have to go back, and I'm going to have to treat with Crossfire? Well, maybe 30 days, 90 days, and then you have to explain that to the customer that they just have to get bit until you treat with a more reputable pesticide. So it's just not worth it to me. So that's all I use is Crossfire.
Yeah, and I mean, I already have Crossfire. I have a sprayer, but I wasn't sure. I wanted to ask you because I know they didn't use Crossfire when they treated my apartment, and right. I'm ready to spray with Crossfire. Like, I have everything I need.
If they used Onslaught, I would still, if it was just 2 weeks ago, I'd probably give it at least 2 more weeks before you spray with Crossfire, just to make sure, and then treat with Crossfire, because Onslaught can last about a month. If it's not Onslaught Fast Cap. Onslaught Fast Cap can last longer, but Onslaught by itself will last about a month. It may be a little bit longer than a month, but your Crossfire will outlast whatever residuals left over after a month.
I'm reading here. It is Onslaught Fast Cap.
Okay, so Onslaught Fast Cap will last a little bit longer. It might kill the bed bugs, but it sounds like they didn't on some of your stuff, like your luggage and stuff like that. But you could actually treat your luggage bags and your suitcases and stuff like that with Crossfire.
Right.
I don't usually recommend treating the insides. I usually just treat the outside.
Right. Um, I mean, it's been such a nightmare. And I think my worst fear is that it's not just my unit.
Oh no,
I
it
live
probably isn't.
in
It's
a,
probably multiple units
yeah,
in your building.
I live in a building with 3 units, which is relatively not that many. But at the same time, I mean, my landlord tried to give me a bed bug addendum to my lease. And I fought it, and I told her that, I never had bed bugs, and she ended up canceling it. But I'm just afraid that mine isn't the only one. So I also wanted to ask you, should I report this to her and tell her that I saw another one because it might be coming from somewhere else, or should I just treat my apartment with Crossfire and see if that
I mean,
helps?
that's up to you. That's up to you. I don't want to get you in trouble or anything with
Yeah.
your landlord, but because some landlords are stupid and they don't think. It's like, so I had one I dealt with one time. I can't stand property managers or landlords. There's very few of them that I actually enjoy working for, but I worked for one time, and she said, in fact, I've got pictures of how severe the bed bugs were in this woman's apartment. She was in a nursing home for 6 months, and that's where she brought them from because she needed is a rehabilitation center. She had fallen or something, got hurt. The woman's 82 years old now. She's the same age as my grandmother. She was born the same year, and so the lady couldn't really do very well moving around. It took her about 15 minutes just to get to the door when I knocked on the door to let me in because she walked with a walker and took for every stride I took her about 15 steps just to make one normal walking stride. That's just how old she is, and so the lady called and she said, well, we're going to evict this woman because she brought bed bugs in. And I'm like, why would you do that? She's like, well, because she brought bed bugs into the apartment and we need to get rid of them. And I said, well, why don't you just spray the apartment, kill the bed bugs, and then does she not pay her rent on time? And she's like, no. I said, well, does she tear the place up? And then she's like, no, she's a good tenant. And I said, well, if she's a good tenant, then let her stay there. No one intentionally infests their house with bed bugs. No one does like, hey, I can't wait to have bed bugs crawling on me while I try to sleep. No one's that way. It was an accident. Kill the bed bugs, let the woman stay in her apartment, and that's all you need to do. It's like, oh, well, I never thought of it that way, but that makes a lot of sense. And I'm like, yeah, because why would you go and shoot yourself in the foot? Because you can't hire anybody. You can't put anybody else in that apartment. You can't go out and get somebody else to sleep in a bed bug infested apartment. They won't sue you because you go and you take them and you put them into an infested apartment. And the bed bugs aren't going to crawl out and want to look for a blood meal. What they're going to do is they're going to go into neighboring apartments. They're going to travel into the neighboring units when there's no blood source in the unit they're in. If they can't get a meal there, they're not going to be happy to sit there and starve. They're going to wander around until they find someone else to feed on, which is going to start driving them into other units of the building. And I said, so it's easier to get rid of them there. Now, sometimes when you live in an apartment, even though it's a triplex, is basically what you're living in, if there are other people in other units that are doing their own pest control and running the bed bugs into your apartment, that's very likely, especially if they go to Walmart or Home Depot or somewhere and just buy something with a picture of a bed bug on the front and they bring it home and they spray it or use diatomaceous earth or something like that. They could run the bed bugs into your unit, and that might be where they're coming from, is a neighbor. They might have been there when you moved in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they were there. I mean, I've been researching everywhere, and I did use like a moving van, but I mean, how many times I got bit? I mean, I got bit all over my body. It was really
How
bad.
long have you lived there?
Well, I moved in late, what day is it today? I moved in late October, around
So you've only
October.
been there a few weeks.
Yeah, and I woke up 2 days. I was only sleeping there for 2 days, and that's when I woke up with all the bites on me.
Yeah, so they were there when you moved in. Probably the people that lived there before were either kicked out because they had bed bugs, or they left because they had bed bugs and thought they could run away from them. Because people will do that.
Yeah.
People will move out of an apartment just to get away from them, especially if they're not having a landlord that will work with them in the situation that they've got. Because getting rid of bed bugs is not cheap. That's why they make you sign addendums, because it's expensive.
And that's why I didn't sign it, because I've been doing so much research, and I read it, and I knew that I wasn't to blame for this problem. and they were trying to get me if other units got infested on the property, and I said that's not right. I mean,
Right.
how am I to blame if they go somewhere else if they were here before? And the tenants before me were only there for 1 month.
Yeah, I would probably tell them. I would probably, if it were me, I would. But I also, I mean, I go to, so like when I go to hotels and they have them, I go down and I strong on them. I'm like, look, I've been doing this for nearly 25 years now, killing bed bugs. I know what a bed bug is. I've actually gone into hotels and found bed bugs. Actually, I usually have my kids do it now. I've taught all my kids how to look for them. And Rory was 12, my oldest. He was 12 years old. He'll be 19 in January. And so he was 12 years old. And the woman tried to say I didn't know what a bed bug was. And I said, Rory, show her what a bed bug is so the 12-year-old can show her what a bed bug looks like. And so, and she crawled up under the bed with him and he showed her exactly where it was living. And, so I have no problem telling people off. But, it is your apartment. If you don't have somewhere to go, that would suck.
I mean, I do have somewhere. That's the thing. I mean, I have my mom. She's an hour away, and that's where I've been while they were treating my unit. But at the same time, my landlord she's trying to work with me. I mean, it's a family-owned complex.
Right.
So I know that you can't give any advice, but I mean, if what they're spraying with is only going to drive them to another unit, I mean, it's a bigger problem than just my unit.
Right. Well, that's what I'm thinking. So, what they used, it could possibly run them into other units, and you may get a little relief for a little while, and then they're right back in as soon as the chemical wears off. Because that's what happens with perethrins. That's one of the biggest problems with synthetic perethroids, is that they are repellent and they work for a little while, but then as soon as they wear off, the bed bugs are right back in your unit again. And so, because they can see the chemical, that's the thing about a repellent, is it's like you put up a wall they can visibly see, and as soon as the wall's broken down, they come right back in. And so because they already know they can eat you, that you're the person they like to bite, because obviously they've bitten you all up. So they know you're a positive blood source for what they need to reproduce.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would use a crossfire. If I were you, I would use it anyway, because evidently the exterminator's not going to use it. I would still wait. A couple weeks, though, and just make sure, just because it's Onslaught, and because Onslaught does have a little bit longer longevity than most other synthetic perethroids, I would still give it at least, make sure it's been down for at least a month before you go and spray crossfire. I don't want you to waste your money. Because once you mix it, you kind of have to use it.
Yeah, that's what I, been learning from you, and I really appreciate all your videos. They've been helping me so much. And I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure if you know, but I mean, I have a cat, and I haven't brought him there yet, but I'm really afraid of like my cat getting bitten.
They'll bite cats and dogs and stuff. They will. So for example, they're attracted to humans. Cats and dogs give off a different heat signature than a human being does. And so they're going to know the difference between you and your cat. Your cat's going to give off a different level of CO2 than you will. And so they're going to know the difference. If the bed bugs don't have you to bite, like if you go to work, or if you're gone for 3 or 4 days, and then you come home, like if you go on vacation, and cats are very independent, so you can leave a cat, for a few days. And if you come back home, the bed bugs may have migrated to the cat's bed and been biting on the cat while you're gone, because it's the only other source of blood, and they can absolutely get the blood meal from a different animal. They don't have to get it from you.
Yeah.
So they can bite your cat. They will bite your cat, especially if the cat sleeps in the bed with you. They might bite the cat and you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're an animal person, but the cat means more to me. So I'm like, stay away from my cat.
It's not going to be as bad as fleas, I don't think. I mean, fleas are pretty bad when the fleas will actually live on the cat. Bed bugs won't live on the cat. They can't live on the cat. They only crawl up and might bite the cat and then crawl away. So.
Right. And I also wanted to ask you, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure that you have a lot of other things to do, but I actually have to travel for work, and I'll stay at my mom's house for 2 nights out of the week, and then I'll go back to my apartment. What do you think the risk is there? I mean, what are some, what is some advice you can give me when it comes to having to go and stay at my mom's house and then having to go back to this apartment?
So that you don't take them to your mom's. Is that what you're saying? You don't want to take them with you.
Yeah.
So you could treat your car. that's what I would recommend definitely that you do first, is treat the trunk and treat your car, so that when you take your backpack or your luggage or whatever inside your car and you throw it in the trunk, it's in an area that's been treated with Crossfire. Because if you go and steam your luggage and it's obvious the bed bugs ever treated tried to crawl to the luggage, then you want to treat your luggage and you want to treat your trunk so that anything that might go with you dies. And that way you don't have to worry about infesting your mother's house. I actually just talked to a lady a couple days ago about the likeliness of taking bed bugs with you. If you don't have a heavy infestation, you probably won't take bed bugs with you. They're not going to crawl into your luggage or anything like that naturally, unless, like I said, in a situation like you where they've treated with something that's a repellent and you kind of run them around, and you know they're not going to just go through and just spray everything. And so they'll go to areas that haven't been treated. That's where you run the risk of, you know, taking them with you. But if you treat the trunk of your car and you treat your luggage and you know that that stuff's already been taken care of, then, you know, you could pack your luggage like you normally would with your t-shirts, clothes, whatever. And then any bed bugs that crawl out have to crawl out of the luggage and they'll die. So you don't have to worry about taking them with you if you do that. That's what I do. I mean, when I go out of town and I know I'm going to travel to somewhere that might have bed bugs, like in a hotel or an Airbnb or something like that, I will treat my luggage. I will treat the luggage bag. I will treat my car. And I have never brought bed bugs home from a hotel. I have been in hotels with bed bugs. I've never taken them home with me. But I'm proactive. I treat it like everyone's got them, and I just do it as a preventative, and it works. But I'm very, very pro prevention. That's the way I've always been. That's the way I was trained, and to practice preventative pest control. And if you practice preventative, you don't ever have the problem in the first place.
Right, and that's something I've definitely been learning from you, and just this experience in general. That's how I've been viewing everything, is treat everything like bed bugs. But yes, and
I mean, you don't have to be
paranoid.
It's more like just protecting yourself. You're just protecting yourself.
Right. I mean,
just like,
I can't.
Like today, like I could take a shower. I could go out tomorrow, and I may not stink, but I'm going to put deodorant on anyway, just in case, you know. And so, yeah, and so it's more of a preventative thing. You're preventing the possibility, and it gives you peace of mind anyway.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And then as far as my clothes, do I have to like put it in the dryer before I put it in my luggage, or do I just put it as
if
is?
You're concerned. I mean, if you found, the thing is the biggest issue that you've got is what your apartment's already been treated with. And so when I go into these places where people have used these different types of pesticides like that, and they haven't treated things like dressers, chest of drawers, and stuff like that, the bed bugs will retreat to those pieces of furniture just to try to hide, because bed bugs like to squeeze into a crack. And if they can find a crack that doesn't have a chemical in it, they'll go in that crack if it's something they don't recognize as a chemical anyway. And so they'll go into your dressers and chest of drawers, nightstands, and stuff like that. So you probably should, it wouldn't be a bad idea just to see if you've got anything in your dresser. You know, open your dresser, pull out the drawers, and look around. I've got a couple videos showing how to treat those spots in nightstands and stuff, and those are the same areas you want to check for bed bugs if they're in them. And then you can always just throw your laundry in the dryer and just see if you catch any in the lint trap. You'll see them in the lint trap if they're in there.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's the thing. It's a shared laundry, so I've been taking it to a laundromat with like sealed bags.
If it's a shared laundromat, that's a good way to bring bed bugs into your unit. When I was first married to my wife, we lived in an apartment building with shared laundry. And we went to go wash our laundry one time, and I actually saw a little baby cockroach, crawl from around the weather, like the little piece of weather stripping or whatever it is, that piece of rubber around the rim of the dryer. And I was like, I am not coming here anymore. We have got to either move out of this place or get a washer dryer or something, because I'm not taking cockroaches. I've been an exterminator since I was 6 years old. I'm not going to bring cockroaches into my house.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, yeah. Well, I just wanted to say thank you. I mean, I'm so appreciative for all the information that you put on YouTube, and you've helped me so much.
Well, I'm glad.
And I really appreciate night. I mean, I'm deeply appreciative of everything that you're doing. So
Well,
thank you so much.
Have a good night. All right. Bye. So there's been a little bit of chatting going on here. Let's see. How do you keep from spreading bed bugs yourself? I've never spread bed bugs myself. I brought them home one time, but I've never actually taken them to another customer's house. I always do my bed bug jobs last on the day. So if I've got like a route where I'm doing multiple stops in a day, like tomorrow. So tomorrow I have a pest control to do in the morning, and I scheduled my bed bug work to do in the afternoon. And if I take a bed bug from one house to another house with bed bugs, I don't care. But if I'm coming home, I try not to bring them home. And if I have another job come up in the afternoon to do after the bed bug work, I always come home, change out of my uniform, and make sure I don't have anything on me. And then I go to the next job. So I'm very careful. I'm not going to go and infest a customer's house with bed bugs. I just don't do that. Let's see. Brad says, I really just want everyone to know about this channel and how to get rid of bed bugs. Brad's my cheerleader. Brad shows up here every week and cheerleads me and talks about how I can kill bed bugs. Every week. Brad is here. Brad is the Green Acres, the official unofficial Green Acres cheerleader. Can a bed bug heater reliably kill all bed bugs on things used as a preventative? What do you think of the Thermal Strike Ranger bed bug heater? It has better reviews than the others on Amazon. So let me see. Thermal Strike. Oh, I wouldn't use that. No. Oh, wait. It's like the room? Hold on a minute. Let's look at this together. Like this little thing here? The problem with these little heater things is that you risk harming your stuff. I mean, if you put it in there and it really gets as hot enough to kill bed bugs, which 125 degrees to kill the eggs, that's pretty dang hot. And that'll mess up a lot of your personal items, especially, I mean, you can't put electronics in it at all. It would ruin your electronics. I don't recommend this. There's a reason I don't recommend heat. Heat is damaging. Heat is not... heat kills a lot of stuff, all right? Including your house and your belongings and things that you don't want to ruin. And so I don't recommend heat. But if you're worried about bed bugs being in your stuff, if you treat your apartment with Crossfire or Alpine WSG or something like that, and as a preventative, you don't have to use Crossfire. You can use Alpine. And if the bed bugs crawl out of your stuff to crawl to you, they die. And so you could treat your box spring even with Alpine. The only difference between Alpine and Crossfire is Alpine excludes the mattress. Everything else you can treat with Alpine. You just can't treat the mattress. You could treat the box spring. You could treat the bed frame. You could treat the bed rails. So you could take your whole bed apart as long as you're not treating the mattress. You could treat everything else with Alpine. So if you've got like a shoebox... Hello, this is Jason with Green Acres Pest Control. Can I help you?
Hi, Jason. I got a question about having bed bugs.
Okay. What's your question?
So what I've had, I think I've had bed bugs for about 2 years now.
That's a long time to have bed bugs.
I know, right? I've been trying to deal with myself with the heating, the different beds. I've now used Crossfire for about 2 months now, and I'm still having the same issue. I've had the bags over my bed, and I'm still having the same problem. And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm kind of done with all the different things. So I'm trying to figure out what's a good. I don't know what to do on it. It's kind of like driving me crazy.
What have you used, like pesticide wise? Have you tried Crossfire?
I've used Crossfire. I have been using that for a good 2 months solid now. I've using the what's it called? I don't want, not the dust. I don't know what it's called, but the
Semexa?
Get it. Semester. Yeah, I've used that. I have the things on the bed for the bottoms of the bed. I forget that, whatever they call it. The sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Yeah, I have those. I've used everything pretty much.
So
I don't have parts with that.
Interceptors will cause you problems. They don't really fix the problem.
Okay.
So if let's pretend that it's day one and you just found out you have bed bugs. All right.
Yeah.
You don't have that. We're going to do this hypothetically, okay? You don't have mattress encasements. You don't have interceptors. You don't have anything because you just found bed bugs.
Yep.
All right. So if you call me and I come out, I don't push interceptors. I don't promote mattress encasements. All I do is I come in. I take all the beds apart. I take the sofas and stuff apart. I treat all of that stuff with Crossfire. That's the only thing I do, and I put it all back together. I recommend. Actually, I even have it in my paperwork that customers should not use interceptors or mattress encasements as part of my contract because they do not work. They actually will cause Crossfire to not work because they are inhibiting the ability for the bed bugs to come into contact with the chemical. If you're going to, you want them. The whole goal is to get them to crawl out like they normally would, crawl through the chemical and die. That's the most effective way to get rid of bed bugs. So, in essence, what you do in your situation is you would go through, take all the mattress encasements off, throw them away to trash. Take the interceptors off the beds and get rid of them, and treat with Crossfire, which you've already treated with Crossfire. In fact, if the last time you treated with Crossfire was just like a week or so ago, even recently, all you have to do is just go and uncover the beds and treat the mattress and stuff with Crossfire that was covered up. And then live like a normal human being and pretend like you don't have bed bugs. And I don't recommend using Semexa because Semexa is silicate and it's not very effective on bed bugs anyway. It's not. I know a lot of exterminators will even use it and stuff, and there's even exterminator channels that swear by it. I don't recommend it because it can be a repellent to Crossfire. And so with Crossfire as a non-repellent, I don't use anything in the house but Crossfire. That's the only thing that I use. So if I come in, that's all I use. I don't use dust. I don't dust in outlets. I don't do any of that stuff. I just use the Crossfire, and I'm a minimalist, and it works. So far this year, I've only done one follow-up. And since I started my company it'll be 8 years in February, I've done nearly 350 bed bug jobs. And I've only had to go back on a handful, very few.
I get you.
And so it's that's the most effective way to do it. Now I've gone in houses. Just to give you an example, I had a lady that I was doing in Falls Church, which is about 3.5 hours away from my house. I go all over Virginia. If it's in Virginia, I go there. Now I went to her house. I treated her house for 3 months straight. So I was making a 3.5 hour trip one way, 3 times a month. So that's 7 hours in a car just to treat her house for her. And I went back the third trip, and I was like, the bed bugs, it was so frustrating to me. And she's like, well, I think I might have been doing something wrong because I was reading over your paperwork, and I found this little part in your paperwork. And I said, well, what have you been doing? And she said, she showed me the interceptors she was putting on her bed legs. And I was like, you've been doing that? She was doing that so I never saw them. Because I would treat the bed, and when I left, she would put them back on the bed. When she went and made her bed back up, she would put those interceptors back on the bed legs. As soon as she took those interceptors off the bed legs, all the bed bugs died. And she hasn't had to have me come back at all. And that was like 4 or 5 years ago, because that's back when I was actually doing 3 treatments. That's the way I used to do it. I would do 90-day treatment plans, and that's just the way I always sold all of my bed bug work. And so now I just do the one-time treatments. So if she called me now, I would just go one time. And I would just tell her, just call me if you need me. But as long as you don't do that, it's more effective. It does work better.
Well, yeah, I mean, that would save it because I have Crossfire like it's nothing, like a subscription. Wow, okay. I will do that. I will start tonight with that. Hopefully I can
But
get
give
back
it
to
time
normal.
because it does take time for bed
Yeah.
bugs to die. They do have to crawl out and crawl through it. It is a non-repellent
Yeah.
chemical, so they don't know it's
Yeah.
there. So they're going to behave like normal. And bed bugs only get a blood meal about once every 3 or 4 days. So they're not going to feed
Yeah.
every day. And eventually, I mean, different ones will be like on a different feed cycle. That one that fed yesterday won't feed today, but the one that didn't feed yesterday will. And so,
Yeah.
as they all, eventually the bites will subside to where you just stop having bites altogether. So.
Yeah.
And treat your chairs
Okay.
and sofas and stuff too. Don't just treat the bedrooms. Treat everything.
Oh,
Treat all
no,
the furniture, all the baseboards through the whole house.
Yeah, I've been doing all of that.
Yeah.
I'm like, we're gonna get this stopped because I mean, the only reason, and I know it sounds crazy for this period of time, but the only reason I'm an investor, so I purchased a house
Right.
with them, and then I brought them to my house, and I was like, really? So it's just, but neither here or there. I've been trying to deal with it on my own. I have the heat machine, I have all those things, but it's been going crazy. So I'm definitely gonna try your recommendation and go see what it goes for.
Yeah, let me know. Come back and let me know how things work out.
Yeah. All right. I really appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. You have a good one.
You too.
So with a heat treatment, I think what we were talking about before I got on the phone there. If you, like I was just telling to him, if you treat everything with Crossfire, the bed bugs are going to naturally crawl out to crawl to you, to bite you. And they can't get a blood meal from your personal belongings. They have to get a blood meal from you. So if you are worried about things that bed bugs may be inside of, like shoeboxes or electronics, PlayStation, or something like that, leave it in the room where you sleep, because the bed bugs are going to naturally get hungry. When they get hungry, they crawl out of that stuff and they crawl to you. They crawl over your bed that you have treated and they die. They'll crawl across the Alpine. Like I was showing, you don't have to use Crossfire. You could use Alpine WSG. That will kill bed bugs. And yes, it's cheaper. So somebody actually posted in it that Alpine WSG is expensive. So I want to show you the difference, and just to explain some things about why Alpine WSG is actually not expensive when compared to Crossfire. So if you go to my YouTube channel and you scroll to, let's see, first you should subscribe. Hit that little button right there and subscribe to the channel. But if you go to the video, like this is the live stream right now. This is what we're on. Okay, this is me. So you scroll down and you click this more button right here. Every one of my videos has a more button under it. That's the description. Like when people say it's in the description below, that's the description of my video. So if you scroll down and you click, see where it says Amazon store right here? It's up-to-date pesticides we use here. You click this link and it'll take you to my Amazon store. Now, if you go to the bedbug supply, this is Crossfire. That's like right at the top, easy to find. You're going to find it. It's right there. But if you scroll down, there's Alpine. All right. It's 13 ounces. So this is a $40 bottle of Crossfire. So let's pull out our calculator and I'll show you why it's cheaper. Okay. So there's our calculator. Okay. So let's just go with 40. It's easier. Okay. That's 1 gallon. That's $40 period. 1 gallon. All right. Here's Alpine. Alpine WSG. All right. These are 5 packets. It's 5 packets. They're $32.95. Okay. So that's $33 minus 33. All right. So that's a $7 difference. So it's already cheaper. By instead, a 13-ounce bottle of Crossfire is going to run you $40. 5 packets of Alpine WSG will run you $33. So that's cheaper. $7 cheaper. Okay? But Alpine, now I'm not going to pull up the label, but I'll tell you. The label of Alpine is 30 grams. So 1 packet, this is for bed bugs, 1 packet of Alpine is 10 grams. So you'll need 3 of these packets to make 1 gallon of finished solution, 1 gallon of Alpine. All right. So that's how much 1 gallon is. So if you take $33, divide by 5, because it's 5 packets, That's how much each packet is worth, about, you know, $6.60. Okay? And then you times it by 3. That's $19.80 for 1 gallon. And Crossfire is $40. So you save $20 by buying Alpine and just using Alpine. That's why I said use Alpine if you're doing a preventative, because if you don't have bed bugs, there's no reason to use Crossfire if you don't already have bed bugs. Now you can, if you just want to spend the extra $20, you can do Crossfire, but Alpine will go further. And the chemical will go a lot further, and this is cheap. This is just $32.95 for Alpine. And it's good, and it'll kill things other than Crossfire will kill, like it'll kill ants, and it'll kill cockroaches, it'll kill fleas. It's actually very good on fleas. So if you have a flea problem, I recommend Alpine. Alpine's really good on fleas. So that's the difference in price. Yeah, Alpine's a lot cheaper than Crossfire, and if you've got problems with fleas, it's only 1 packet to a gallon for fleas instead of 3. You only have to have 1, so you can actually effectively mix 5 gallons of Alpine WSG to kill fleas, and you should only need 1 gallon to kill fleas. So, and then you have leftovers for later. Someone says my mic is quiet. I have got it turned up as loud as I can. I don't know why it's not very loud tonight, but it is not. Hey, Rory, can you mute your computer? Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm that's the best I got on my mic. I don't know what's going on with my mic tonight. I haven't changed any settings on the actual mic itself, so I don't know. It does seem quieter. It's a lot quieter. See if I could turn it up. I mean, I'll turn it up. We'll see how things go. I don't want to redline on you either. I don't want to be so loud that it redlines. So, you can use 1 packet as preventative candy. You can, but I usually use 3 on a bed bug prevention just in case. Like the houses I do for bed bug prevention are houses like if you were a nurse and you looked after patients, like going into their houses, like home instead nurses and stuff. I always, treat those houses as if they are absolutely going to get bed bugs tomorrow, because they're at high risk. I treat my house with 30-gram packets because I want to make sure that I am doing a proper prevention. I use 3 on my house because I'm always in bed bug work, because the label of Alpine actually says 10 to 30 grams for bed bugs, and I always mix 30 grams because that's honestly what it takes to kill bed bugs. So that's what I use in my house. I do not recommend using bed bug lures. They don't work. Let's see. In fact, I haven't seen a single model of lure, and I've looked at a lot of them. They don't really work. I have spent well over $800 before I got Crossfire and finally eradicated my... Oh, there's my cheerleader again. See, I forget. Brad's my cheerleader. He's like, sis boom ba, go Jason. I like him. Anyway. A Crossfire replacement for Canada. So I talked about that last weekend. I've got a video about it too that I put on my channel. So the thing about Canada is they don't allow for neonicotinoids. You can get Crossfire. There are people in Canada that swear they've gotten it, been able to get it. But I've got a video. If you go to my channel, this one right here, Bedbugs 2024. Just go watch that video right there. In fact, let me see if I can share that. Share. Let's copy the link and I'll post it right here. So go watch that. That'll help you if you live in Canada. So if you wanted to prevent for all critters, 3 packets to 1 gallon, where I live, bed bugs and roaches are a huge risk. I would probably, if it were a roach problem, the label of Alpine actually recommends 30 grams. So I recommend 30 grams for cockroaches. That's what I would use. I wish I could buy Crossfire. Yeah. I've got a lot of Canadians that watch me now on here. Have I ever had bed bugs? Yes, I have. I have had bed bugs. 2 years ago, I had bed bugs. And I got rid of them with Crossfire. So, yep, I have had bed bugs. How are you, Alicia?
Who, me?
Yeah. Are you better this week?
I'm better than I was. I've got this nagging cough at night.
Yeah, me too.
Basically, especially when I fall asleep and I lay down. But I have had a profusely runny nose that's been lasting. I've
Yeah.
been sick for this is going into the beginning of my 5th week.
5th week.
Yeah. So, the fever's gone, sore throat's been gone.
Because everybody heard you coughing last week.
Yeah. I was coughing a little bit this week too. The cough is better, but it's the worst between midnight and 4 in the morning. Is when it's at its worst. But that's also when my nose seems
That's when you're out hunting bed bugs anyway. Right? Between midnight and 4 o'clock, that's when you're out hunting bed bugs.
What I was going to say about that one woman in Interceptors, if you have a mouse trap and you put cheese on it, you wouldn't then put a bowl over top of it. Because that's going to make it harder for the mouse to get to the trap where the cheese is.
Right.
So you don't want to do anything that's going to interfere with that. People will also not sleep in their bed, and they'll drive the bed bugs to other parts of their house, So you have to do everything you can to make sure they're going to want to crawl up to try to get to you.
Right.
And not defer them at all.
Right. Right.
Anything is prolonging, their existence in your house.
So, German says, Jason, how do you treat for bat bugs? You treat for bat bugs the same way you treat for bed bugs, except you exclude the bats. If you've got bats living in your attic or on your house, you need to get rid of the bat problem. The bat bugs will not go away unless you get rid of your bats. Now, how much do you charge for a treatment? So, bed bug treatments are relative. Because I do statewide bed bugs, it's really relative to where people live. That's just the way it is. If I have to travel 3.5 hours, of course, it's going to be a lot more expensive than if I did a local job.
And that's really relative.
Hello, this is Jason with Akers Pest Control. Can I help you?
Yes, sir. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Oh, good to hear. My name's Eric. I've texted you a few times in the past.
Okay.
I've been fighting these guys for about, 3 years, and I've got my, I did the first year and a half. I didn't know about you. I didn't know about Crossfire. I didn't know about anything. But I've got my 7th treatment of Crossfire ready to mix up and go with these guys. And the last time, it's a little over a month now. So I know to wait, a month for the residuals. And I used a whole gallon in 2 rooms. There really only could be in 2 rooms. I live by myself.
That's an awful lot of chemical. I mean, that's
what
a lot.
I figured, but I just had it with them, and they're still biting me.
I can use 1 gallon and do 3 bed bug jobs with 1 gallon.
Yeah, I've heard you say that before, but I had never used it all before. My house isn't big enough, really. There's 2 bedrooms, but nobody ever goes in the other one, and I go and play guitar in there occasionally, but it's locked. I don't really get very many visitors anymore at all.
Right.
So I think the focal point is the couch in the living room. That's where I first discovered them. But these guys seem to know when I go to sleep even. I'm sure they do. I'll wait up all night on the couch waiting to see them, but I hadn't seen one in months.
Right.
No sign of one. Except for my arms. When I wake up, they love to bite me right on the wrists. Both wrists, every time. And if I slept for 30 minutes, they'd get me. They'd know it and come on out and get me and go on wherever they're hiding. I don't know where they are.
So I'll tell you what I told. So I've had people before. One of the problems with the couch is if they're living in the couch. If you haven't found any on your bed or anything like that since you've been spraying, and you think they're coming from the couch, which is probably true. That's probably where they're coming from.
Right.
You might have to throw away a couch. If in all my years of killing bed bugs, I've only had 3 people that I've advised to throw away their furniture, and 2 of them, one of them was a lazy boy recliner, which is basically just a couch that's short, and a couch. It was a sofa that had the 2 recliners built into the sofa, and the one guy had a lazy boy recliner. And the main reason that I told the people to throw away the sofa and the recliner is because when you flip them upside down, and it's a lot of places you just can't treat. Even if you take off the felt on the bottom, there are places you just can't get into with the sprayer. And because bed bugs don't need to eat all the time, they don't have to come out. Technically, they don't have to crawl out at all. Those houses, once they threw away the sofas and the lazy boy, they stopped having their bed bug problems. The bed bugs all died off. They did still find some dead ones around where they kind of crawled out and died in the chemical, where they weren't all in the sofa, but it did eliminate a vast majority of the problem, and the bed bugs died off. And so, we treated one more time after they got rid of the furniture, and the bed bugs died. But like I said, in 24, nearly 25 years, that's all. I did have one problem one time with a lady with a waterbed, but mainly she was unwilling to drain the waterbed because she was worried it was going to pop it. Because sometimes when you drain them, it ruins them. I mean, try to flip a waterbed mattress. You can't if it's full.
Right.
And I mean, you just can't do it. I couldn't get under the bed at all. I couldn't treat 2/3 of the bed because the waterbed was in the way. And she continued to have problems on that bed because I couldn't do the job I needed to be able to do. And she wasn't willing to throw away the bed either. So,
I understand. Well, you may have answered a really, solved a dilemma for me, or actually made my mind up, because I rent and my landlords are coming in to do a floor job in the living room where that couch is in about 2 weeks. And I've been on the fence about buying another couch and throwing this away. It's expensive.
Right.
But
you can treat the new couch, though, too. You can actually treat. So what you do is when you bring your new couch in, treat the legs and the couch like you normally would. So if there are any bed bugs actually hiding in the apartment, they have to crawl out and crawl across the treated couch before they actually infest the couch. Because the problem is once they get into couch and they find those little crevices and cracks and stuff to hide in, it may be hard to get them to actually come out and crawl through the chemical. So that's why you treat it before you put it in there.
I got you. This last time, like I said, I used that whole gallon. I was making like barriers around the couch in case they were coming from outside somewhere.
Right.
And I must have them under some kind of control, because I noticed this time around the bites, most of them are a little smaller, like maybe it's babies. Also,
if they're biting you on your arm, one of the places you want to look on a couch. So, and this is one place you could check, where the back cushion meets the armrest, it'll kind of form, like especially those overstuffed couches, it'll form like a really good crease right there, and you peel that back and you just spread it with both hands and look in there and see if you see any bed bugs, because it's real common for them to be there. I have found them in chairs. I have found them in like recliners and stuff, where that pillow, the back pillow, kind of sits on top of the armrest, and they will get in that little groove, that little semicircle groove there. They will hide there, and you can find them there. You can actually find them on the back of the couch, right around on the other side where your back, like right on the back of the couch. Look where those boards are kind of stapled, because they'll have most couches will have a upholstered back that's actually like stapled or glued to the back of the couch to kind of hide all of the, the workings of the couch and stuff. And they'll get up around those too, and you can treat around those and kill them and chase them out and get rid of them.
I got you. I'll tell you one more quick thing that I have a suspicion about. The couch is old. It needs to go anyway.
Okay.
It wasn't that, I'm not worried about getting rid of it. I'd do it tonight, but, getting another one these days. But it is one of the older kinds of couches to wrap around, and it has a fold-out bed. Now, I sit on the whole other side of it almost all the time, but I was wondering if it is the couch. Maybe they're hiding in the cracks in that fold-out bed.
Oh, yeah, if they're in the sofa bed, absolutely. I pull out sofa beds all the time. Even on people that don't use them, I will pull the sofa bed out and find bed bugs in the sofa bed of a sofa bed that's never been pulled out since it's been owned, and still find them inside the sofa bed, because it's a crease, it's a crevice, it's a place for them to hide. And it doesn't take a bug truth, I mean, when you think about it, a bed bug usually they eat between 2 and 4 in the morning, and they can easily crawl out and bite you and crawl back. It doesn't take them that long to crawl out of the sofa bed and the couch and bite you and then crawl right back into the couch again.
Yeah, they're slick. These guys are smart. I mean, if I fall asleep for 45 minutes, you can be sure. And the last thing I'll say that I'm not worried about them. I know you said that they don't carry diseases. I've looked into it. When I first started seeing these things, I didn't even know what they were.
Right.
And I don't know how they got here, and I don't think they're still coming in. But I think I went a long time without seeing any of their marks, their bites, and now I'm kind of become hyper allergic to them. Like the bites look really bad sometimes with it, And I know I've seen them when I first discovered them, and I had never seen anything like that on me. They must have been biting me, but is it possible maybe I developed an allergic reaction to them over the years, or?
It's a possibility.
I mean,
well, like I let that bed bug bite me a while back, and I never had a reaction. And my wife said, well, now you need to let her bite you again, because maybe you'll have one now. Because people will. They may not react when they first get bit, or they won't have as bad a reaction, and then they'll develop a worse reaction later. It's almost like the body recognizes it more the second time you get bit or the third time you get bit, and you'll have a worse reaction. It does happen.
Maybe so. Yeah, it looks like they
Same
take
like with honey.
I mean, it looks like burns almost.
Well, like you could get stung by a yellow jacket today and it not bother you at all. But as your body gets stung and stung repeatedly more and more and more, you could actually have an allergic reaction later in life from the same thing that didn't bother you when you were a child.
Yes, sir. I actually developed a nickel reaction when in my 30s, and I had never had that before, so I had to get a nickel-plated belt buckle for my belt. So I know that can happen. That's why I was wondering, because I know they must have been here for a while before I even discovered them.
Right.
By the time I'd seen them. And I've been hitting them with Crossfire, I've been waiting a little bit more than a month. Maybe that's given them just enough time to recoup.
Well, that's what I tell people to do.
I don't know.
If I go into
a house, time since I've seen one.
If I go into a house and I treat for bed bugs, I give people up to 50 days to call me back. And I tell them all the way up to day 50, get your money's worth, and then call me back. If day 50 you still need me to treat again, I will. And most people, the bed bugs are gone by then. Very rarely do they actually need me to come back. Even at day 30, you could still have a few bed bugs, but they typically all die by about day 45 or 50. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm probably going to replace this couch and use another treatment or two. And this is still going on in a few months. I'll probably you said tonight, I saw earlier that you come to anywhere in Virginia. Well, I'm a good ways away from you, but I'd be willing to pay you at this point.
You got a 434 area code. You ain't that far.
Yeah, I mean, you know where South Hill is, South Hill area?
Oh, it's South Boston?
It's not South Boston, but it's right off of 85. Like, the Interstate 85 is right, it's almost a stone's throw away and away. It's not very far.
I know where 85.
We're about 8 miles before the Carolina border.
Well, yeah, you're way down there.
Yeah, we're over more from you. That's instead of down, I guess. But yeah, we're probably about 9 miles from the Carolina border, something like that, and right off Interstate 85.
Yeah, I know about where you're at. I've never been over to that area of Virginia. I've been down South Boston. I've been Chatham, Danville, but I've never actually been over to 85 out that. Well, I guess Danville's kind of close to 85, but not far.
It's somewhat, yeah. It's a couple hours away from here, but it's not bad. Hour and a half maybe. But anyway, I appreciate your help, man, and hopefully this will work. And I'm glad you said that about, just toss it, because that pretty much made my mind up. I was already on the fence anyway, considering it, so I guess that's going to happen, and I'll let you know.
Hey, no problem. You have a good night.
You too. You're doing God's work, sir.
I just try to help. You have a good one. Bye.
Thank you.
So Alicia, I don't know if y'all heard her earlier, but she had a real good analogy that really pertains to things like interceptors and mattress encasements and stuff like that. If you have, all right, this is how Crossfire works. This is a real easy way to explain how Crossfire works. If you have a mouse trap and you got cheese on a mouse trap, and you're trying to catch a mouse, right? Now you've baited the trap, you've set the trap. Now to catch that mouse, you put a bowl over the trap. How are you going to catch a mouse if there's a bowl over the trap? All right. If you spray your bed and you spray your furniture and then you go and you put interceptors on the bed legs and mattress encasements on the furniture, you've in essence done the exact same thing as her analogy where you put a bowl over the mouse trap. How are you going to catch a mouse? How are you going to kill the bed bugs? You just covered the area you treated. You're not. You're not going to be able to kill the bed bugs. So you've got to actually, don't cover up the treatment. Let the bed bugs crawl out. You're creating a trap by using Crossfire. So, but yes, Alicia is smart. She's a lot better at analogies than I am. I'll use an analogy and they work, but most of the time, she's a lot smarter than me when it comes to that kind of stuff. She should write, but she takes care of the babies because she's really good at that too. Melinda says, I found bed bugs last month. I called a pest control and they treated my room a few days after. I did get bit, but I gave it time and now I have not gotten bit. But I feel I will spray Crossfire to be sure. I would still wait at like a month after it was originally treated, or at least 2 weeks. At least 2 weeks. Hey, Rory. Please, have another one. Thank you. I appreciate that. How long can bed bugs live without a blood meal? 12 months. I had a similar issue with my big wooden platform bed. I tossed it. It was impossible to treat. Took care of most of my problem. Treated the new metal frame just in case, and they were all gone in a month. Yeah, sometimes the hard truth is that you actually do need to throw away your furniture. I hate to do that. The goal of my company is to try to save people money wherever I can. And not just with the price of the job that I do, but also with the, having to throw away furniture. I don't want people on top of a bed bug treatment having to throw away all their furniture. And if you treat the furniture, usually that's all you have to do. Usually you don't have to throw away the furniture, but platform beds, they are difficult. They're difficult to flip upside down without breaking them, honestly. But I've done it. Jennifer Lego, you did not have to do that. Thank you very much. Jennifer Lego donated $20, and that was really sweet. Thank you. That's surprising me. But I'm late tonight. She's here because I'm late. I'm late on getting online tonight. What do you know? All right, let me look it up. Somebody asked me about a chemical. Let's look it up together. Not sure. Wait, CYHALOTHRIN. I know it's a synthetic pyrethroid. Is it demand? I think that's demand. Hold on. Let me do this. Yep, it's demand. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right. To answer your question, it's all right. It's not Crossfire, but you may have to treat more than once. You may have to treat for about 6 months, once every 6 months. Let's read the label and see what it says, because I'm not really familiar with the label. I know what the chemical is, but I'll be truthfully honest with you. I can't stand demand. I used to use it for cockroaches. It's awful, but it might be better for bed bugs. It does have right on the label, bed bugs. Let's see if it actually has a spot. Okay, so bed bugs. This is what you have to do for bed bugs. This is what the label says. This is why I tell people read the label before you even buy a chemical, because you may not be able to do the treatment if you don't know what your ability is. But if you read the label, it might be able to explain it to you what you need to do. Clean floors and surfaces by vacuuming before application. Apply as a coarse, low-pressure spray to the harborage areas, including crevices, baseboards, loose plaster behind bed frames, and headboards beneath beds and furniture, and to box springs, bed springs, and bed frames. Do not apply to furniture surfaces or mattresses where people will be laying or sitting. Do not treat infested bedding, but remove and place in sealed plastic bags and take for laundering and drying at high temperatures. So basically, it gives you the same rules around treating as Crossfire, except you can't treat the mattress with it. But if you don't have bed bugs living on the mattress, that won't be a problem. You can also steam clean your mattress if you live in somewhere like Canada and you can't actually treat the mattress with a chemical. You can steam clean your mattress and kill bed bugs on the mattress. It's actually pretty easy to steam clean a mattress to kill bed bugs. It's not very easy. Thank you, Rory. It's not very easy to steam clean a box spring to kill bed bugs or even the bed frame, but it is fairly easy to kill bed bugs with a steamer on a mattress. So that's your other option. You could use this chemical to kill bed bugs, but you're going to want to treat probably once every three to 4 weeks until you stop having bed bug problems. And that will probably work. That'll probably work. See, I don't always tell people they have to use Crossfire. There are other methods to kill bed bugs than just Crossfire. Crossfire is just what I use because it's easy. I like the easy. I like easy. Oh, that's hot tea. Thank you, Rory. That's really hot. I'm not going to be able to taste right tomorrow. I just scalded my tongue. Anyway, so if you live in Canada, New York, California, Maryland, different places where they don't allow synthetic neonicotinoids, synthetic pyrethroids can work. Hello, this is Jason with Green Acres Pest Control. Can I help you?
Hey Jason, it's me, RJ. I actually just messaged you about the chemical that you just talked about. The
Demand?
Yeah, Demand.
Yeah, because are you in Canada?
Yep, good guess.
Okay.
So I've been dealing with bed bugs for about 6 months. As soon as I moved into this apartment, and just a couple months into the living here, my exterminator company, they went ahead, did the treatment a couple times, and they used the brand you just said. But unfortunately, just a month after, the bed bugs keep reappearing.
Yeah, that's when they would want to retreat again. See, that's why I say you need to treat multiple times with this chemical, because one treatment's not going to do it. I used to use synthetic pyrethroids all the time to get rid of bed bugs, and they do work, but you have to treat regularly, monthly, until you get rid of them. And sometimes it takes 3 months, sometimes it takes 6 months, sometimes it can take a year. But if you're treating regularly, you will keep the bed bugs off your customers until they all eventually starve to death, or they crawl out and get in the chemical and they die. And it does work, but it takes a lot longer, and it's a lot more work for the customer. It's annoying. And that's why I switched to started using Crossfire, because Crossfire is more of like a 1 to 2 application, and that's it, and you're done. And so you're not bothering your customer every single month, coming in and basically rearranging their apartment every single month.
Right. I'll definitely look into that video you just recommended for how the Canadians to solve it. But so this exterminator company, they actually did the treatment 3 times within 2-week schedules, 2-week gaps, and
but that's why I said you have to treat monthly. That's why I said you have to treat more regularly. You have to treat. I mean, all right. So the problem is that a synthetic pyrethroid is naturally repellent to bed bugs. I know people claim that Demand is not as repellent as some other, bed bug solutions as other chemicals, but it is to an extent because it's a synthetic pyrethroid. So the problem is that bed bugs can live for up to a year without a blood meal. And so if they just wait until the chemical's no longer effective, they could come out once it's not effective and bite you, which is why you get bites. As soon as the barrier breaks down enough, they're right back out biting you again. And it may be 2 weeks. It's not very specific on this label. Like if you use tempered Tempered says right on the label for bed bugs to reapply every 2 weeks. Every like 10 days, actually, 7 to 10 days, they want you to do another treatment. And they don't say it on this label. They just, I mean, you see the little teeny tiny paragraph they give for bed bugs. It's hardly anything. And so they're not really giving enough information as to how long it'll actually last. Maybe the exterminator's doing every 2 weeks because that's what works for their company. But it's every 2 weeks until they get rid of them. And they may have to come 6, 7, 8 times before they get rid of your problem. Just because of when you use a synthetic pyrethroid, what you're doing is you're starving the bed bug to the point where they get so hungry, and you're still there as a source. So they're so hungry, eventually they are willing to crawl through the chemical. And when they do, they die.
Okay.
But they're not going to naturally
So
want to
they're-
go through it because they know it'll kill them if they do. They have to just be so hungry they're willing to.
Yeah, they're actually coming one more time. My dad was sleeping on the floor because that's just how he liked it, and they said you shouldn't sleep on the floor. That's just really bad for the. That's just gonna make it more likely for bed bugs to keep coming to you.
Right, because typically you don't treat the floor. You treat the cracks and crevices. And so if you're laying on the floor and they can get to you without crawling through the chemical, but if you've treated the bed frames and you've treated the sofas and stuff like that, like it said in this directions, it said to treat everywhere that isn't, going to be exposed to human skin, which you could technically flip up the mattress and everything and treat box spring and everything. And as long as you're not going to lay in it. And so that gives you a lot of surface area you can treat. That is, then you can't treat the whole floor. And so you're
Right.
laying on the floor.
Okay.
It gives them easier access to you. And that's what I used to tell people too. When I would go in and treat with synthetic pyrethroids, I would tell the customer, pull the bed away from the wall about a foot, to 12 to 18 inches. And that way, even if a pillow were to accidentally slip over behind a headboard or covers were to accidentally fall, they're still gonna kind of be forced to crawl up the bed leg instead of being able to have an alternative route into the bed. Because if they can find an alternative route to you to get over the chemical, because they know where the chemical is and they know where it isn't, they're going to crawl where it isn't to get to you. They're not stupid. They're actually very intelligent.
Seems like it, yeah. Also, another issue is I work at home for a living, so I'm on my computer table all the time. So if they can't spray the floor, is there any preventative measures I can take to protect my feet?
During COVID, a lot of people were working from home, and I was treating homes for bed bugs. And I actually found, for the first time in my career, bed bugs living on people's office chairs, where they would sit at their desk all day, and they would start living on those little swivels on the office chairs. So I started treating the office chair, and you could treat the legs of the desk and stuff like that too, so that the bed bugs have to crawl up and die. You don't treat the floor; you just treat the legs of the chair, and you treat the you treat up the swivel or whatever and the seat and stuff, and then the cracks and crevices around the seat, just like you would a sofa or a bed. You just, as long as you're not going to be exposed to it on your skin, so you wouldn't want to treat the actual the cushion or the back piece, but you treat around the edges
Right.
of it where the bed bugs are going to try to hide, and they'll die.
And I guess just keep your feet up, right?
Well, I mean, they might crawl on your feet. You kill them then. If they're good on you, kill them. But just like if
Right.
you're in the bed and you're laying in the bed and you wake up and one's crawling on you, I mean, you're not gonna let it live. You're gonna kill it. So if they crawl on you, kill them. But they're not gonna be that.
Right,
They don't.
yeah.
They're not typically that brazen in the middle of the day when you're awake and active. They're more active when you are at rest. When you are during that really, like I said, between 2 and 4 in the morning is typically when they're active. Even if you were to work a night shift, they will change their habits based on when you sleep. They don't like to be out when you're awake because they're very volatile. They're not like a tick or a flea. They can't survive through much. You squish them, they're dead. And so they actually will hide from you. They don't like to be out in the open.
Yeah, I usually see them around this time or early morning when I wake up.
Yeah.
Also, one last question. This is one that always confuses me, that I predominantly only see them on my walls, not on my baseboard, my bed. I heard typically if your infestation is really big, they'll be on your walls,
It's 'cause of what
or
they're
vice
treated
versa. Yeah, so I'm just wondering, why are they on my walls?
It's what they treated with. It's because of what they treated with. When you treat with a repellent, they crawl up a wall to get away from the baseboards because you treat the baseboards. So you treat the cracks around the baseboards. It even says right on here that you have to treat the harborage areas, including crevices, baseboards, loose plaster. And if you're treating the baseboards with a repellent, they're naturally going to crawl up the wall. They do the same thing when people put out diatomaceous earth and stuff like that. They try to crawl up the wall to get away from the chemical. It's really common for them to do that. That's why I tell people to pull the bed away from the wall when you use a repellent, because if the bed's touching the wall and they can get onto the bed, somehow get onto an area that hasn't been treated, then you're negating the purpose of treating in the first place. So you pull the bed away from the wall. That might help you too. If you pull the bed away from the wall, it might help if you haven't already.
I already have. I was just confused. I'm like, they'd rather climb the wall than on the floor.
Yeah, they're trying to avoid the chemical. That's why they're doing it. They're avoiding the chemical.
Okay, and I just kill them if I see them on the wall or.
Yeah, just kill them. Yeah, roaches will do that too. Cockroaches will do that. They'll try to avoid the chemical. They'll crawl out of the cracks and they'll stay away from the cracks and they'll be on the wall. I've seen them on door frames and stuff, just sitting right out in the open, because if they try to crawl in a crack, they'll die. And so, yeah, roaches will do that. Ants will do that. Bed bugs will do that. They try to avoid the chemical. If they know where it's at, they don't want to crawl through it. That's why I like Crossfire, because it's non-repellent. So they don't know it's there.
I'll find a way to get it. I'll find a way. Yeah, thanks again. I mean, since the exterminator came, I've only seen one bed bug at a time. I've never seen multiples or any harborage, but I guess I am seeing some progress.
Well, if they're due to come out again, that might be all they need. But I mean, demand isn't a horrible chemical. It is for some things like roaches and stuff. It doesn't really work very well on cockroaches, but it does. I mean, I've had mixed results. I mean, I've never bought demand in my own business. I've used it when I used to work for my dad. I didn't like it, but I've never used it for bed bugs. I've had exterminators tell me it works on a scale of 1 to 10. It's about a 7 or 8. You know, so it's not horrible, but it's also not the best either. So, but if you live in Canada, it might be the best you can get, other than Apprehend. Apprehend's good, but they like a technician can get Apprehend in Canada. That's a 90-day residue that is non-repellent, and that is really effective on bed bugs. And so, you know, if this next treatment doesn't work, you might propose that and say, hey, can you not use Apprehend? I know it's available in Canada. So,
can you use Apprehend or not use Apprehend?
Apprehend is something that is very difficult to use on your own. You need somebody that actually knows what they're doing with the chemical. It's not that you can't get it; you can, but it is a spore, so it's not a pesticide exactly. It's a spore, so it's like a mold or fungal spore that attacks the exoskeleton and kills the bed bug that way and invades in. It's like a parasite to bed bugs. It kills them. And so it's very effective, but it also, you can't use high pressure equipment. You have to use very low pressure equipment, because if it's too high pressure, you risk killing the spore. And there's these different rules on how you can apply it. It's very complicated. And that's why I said it's better, and it's also like $130 a bottle. It's better to just let a professional just do it, because then, I mean, it's at $130 a pop. It could be very expensive trying to do it yourself.
Okay, I guess one more question. Sorry, can you vacuum during, like, after a chemical treatment? I heard like you shouldn't, because you might remove some of the.
No, you can vacuum. You can't mop, but you can vacuum. Like I usually tell people to vacuum. Like if I go in, a really good example is fleas. So when you treat a house for fleas, you spray the entire floor. All right, and then I tell my customer, once it's dry, vacuum every day. You're not going to suck up the chemical. The chemical bonds with the surface it's applied to, so it's not going to go anywhere. But don't mop, because if you mop, you'll clean it up. But if you just vacuum, it won't go anywhere. Yeah, you can vacuum. It won't hurt.
All right, yeah. Green Acres, man. Thanks again.
Hey, no
it's
problem.
Really relieving to hear professional advice.
Yeah, you have a good one.
You too. Good night.
I feel fine. People are hearing me cough over here. I feel fine. I have a horrible problem getting rid of a cough. So, it's just...
We tend to keep a cough for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, we keep a cough for 6 to 8 weeks. It's just the way it is. I'm just that way. I'm fine, but, you know.
It's annoying.
It's annoying. It's obnoxious. I've got videos from years ago where people were commenting on my cough. and they were telling me I needed to go see a doctor. I need to get my lungs x-rayed and all this stuff. And all concerned about my cough. I get a cough in the spring because I get post-nasal drip. I get a cough in the fall because I get post-nasal drip. It's awful because I have horrible spring allergies. I have horrible fall allergies. When they just cut all the hay, all right? In fact, tonight I was fine. I didn't have any problem, okay? We have a bunny, and my air compressor is kept right beside where the bunny's hay is in the building, all right? And when the kids go to take care of the bunny, the hay gets all over my air compressor. And I was out there filling my wife's tires tonight because it's cold, so I fill the tires every winter. I always make sure they're all up to where they're supposed to be. And I was putting air in the tires, and it was hay. There was hay all over that stupid thing, and now I can't breathe again.
We were also out near the forest fire.
Oh, yeah, we were out near the forest fire, too. There's a forest fire in Bedford County right now that's been burning. It's like at 0% contained. So, no, I really think it was the hay, though. I really do think I'm allergic to hay and grass.
Oh, I know I am.
But I went and dumped that hay all over the ground outside and cleaned it off my air compressor. And that was only 2 hours ago, maybe 2.5 hours ago. And ever since, I've got a stuffy nose. My whole face just went, okay, you can't breathe anymore. So, but I get that post-nasal drip in the spring and the fall, and it's miserable. I get it every year. I didn't used to. When I was young, I never had allergies. I never had allergies. Until I hit, like, my puberty, like at 15, 16, 17 years old, I've had allergies ever since. And now I'm like, I'll be 42 next month. In fact, I wanted to mention this now. We're about, an hour and a half in. Next week is Thanksgiving. So usually I live stream every Thursday night. I may or may not be here Thursday night because I usually do late streams. But if I'm not here, everybody understand it's Thanksgiving, so I may not be here. I'm not traveling. I'm going to be here this year. Usually I travel out of town to visit with family, but we're actually staying here this year. So I won't be going out of town, so I will be here, but I may still, just hang out with family. Yes, Caveman. Caveman says, I've been encouraged to vacuum after chemical treatments for bed bugs. He claimed it loosened up the eggs. Yes, it can do that. It can do that. Jennifer Lego says to spend time with family on Thanksgiving. Y'all my YouTube family, I might come on here. I don't know. It depends. I may come on, I may not come on.
We used to go out and do the Black Friday stuff that started on Thursday, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Black Friday's pretty fun. I like Black Friday not because I want to buy something, but because I want to look at all the crazy people that go out on Black Friday. Because I'll tell you what, for a people watcher like me, Black Friday is just like the best. It is like chef's kiss to people watching.
Oh, yeah.
People get mad, man. People get like viciously angry over saving $25 on a TV that isn't even worth $25.
Also people that are really happy and you sit there and laugh.
Oh yeah, there's happy people too. There's happy people too. But then there's the ones that are almost like they're trying to hunt for blood, and they're like,
not gonna get in their way.
Nobody's gonna get in the front of their cart. It's like Mad Max. If you've ever seen Mad Max, it's like Mad Max. And they're just flying through the stores. I used to know some people years ago, ex family members, and my ex-wife actually, and their family would split up, and they had walkie-talkies. They had those walkie-talkies, and so what they would do is they would go to the mall, and one group would go to one store, and one group would go to another store, and one group would go to another store, so they could get all these deals, and they would communicate via walkie-talkie, so they make sure they get all the best deals. And that's just funny, man. That's so funny. I think it's just I don't know. Some people like it because it's fun, but I like it because it's funny. So, can we use mothballs to preserve bags when vacuuming bed bugs? I don't recommend it. I know people that have used mothballs in their vacuum bags before. to kill bugs that get sucked up in the vacuum. The reason I don't recommend it is because a vacuum will actually cycle that mothball into the air, and it'll make the whole air permeate with the smell of mothballs. And the mothballs, the reason they work on bugs is because when you put them in an area like confined, like in a chest where you're storing your sweaters for moths to kill the moths, it will it fills the chest with a gas, poison gas that kills bugs. And so that's how mothballs work. If you put them in your vacuum cleaner, it'll actually push that poison gas in the air all around you, and it'll amplify it, and then you're breathing it in. And I don't know how safe that is. And so I don't recommend it. I know people that have done it, and it has worked to kill bugs in their vacuum bags, but I don't recommend it. I think it's probably not the healthiest thing in the world to do to yourself. A1 Bud says, I'm going to be miserable. I'm having a full mouth dental extraction the day before Thanksgiving.
Oh, no. He's going to go hungry on Thanksgiving like that Silverstein poem.
Well, don't try to chew corn on the cob on Thanksgiving. That would not be fun. Do that before you get your teeth pulled out. Katie, what can you use to treat your car? I use Crossfire to treat cars for bed bugs. So. I got videos on treating cars. My course actually shows how to treat a car in detail, but very, very extensive detail. More than I could probably put in a YouTube video. But if you go to, let's see, YouTube, my channel, subscribe while you're there, and then there is a search bar here. Now there's a search up here. This search all of YouTube. Don't use this. Go down here to this one right here. Click there and click car. Type car. C-A-R. Enter. All right. It's got bed bug vehicle prep. How to treat a car for bed bugs in under a minute. And then it's got this video right here. Bed bugs, mites, and fleas in the car. How to treat your car for bugs. That's what I recommend you watch to learn how to treat your car for bugs. It's an old video. It was done years ago. Let's see. How old is this video? It is 4 years old. That's what I recommend you watch to learn how to kill bugs in your car. So. Can you use half bottle of Crossfire and save the rest for later because the whole bottle can be used for several rooms and I only need to treat one. You need to treat your whole house. Don't just treat one. Treat the whole house. If you're not treating the whole house, you're wasting your money anyway. I tried the Crossfire, sprayed it, and the bed bugs are still around. Did I not spray it right? You probably did something wrong. But it takes about 50 days to kill bed bugs in your house. It's going to take that long for them to all die off. They don't die instantly. Should a car need to be treated if you live in a freezing climate? Yes, bed bugs can live through freezing temperatures. Can you treat your basement with diatomaceous earth? No, don't do that. I use Scepter 2 SC to treat roaches. Worked great. Says also does great on bed bugs. Off-bred Phantom. Phantom, I've heard of people using Phantom for bed bugs, but personally, I wouldn't use it. I don't like Phantom. So you don't like bed bug heaters at all. I'm in Canada and rent. Can't use pesticides myself. I have bed bugs. Use shared apartment laundry. Want to use a heater for clothes that can't go in the dryer. I mean, you can do that. You can do that. Heaters just aren't as effective as people make out. But I do have heaters. So I show, and the reason I have them is because they do work sometimes. Like these little heaters right here, I've got one on my store. And so you could get those, you could put your stuff in it that you're worried. The problem is the heat has got to be able to permeate your clothes. So let me explain what I mean by why these things aren't the best option, these little boxes. All right? So let's do new. Let's do a new one here. All right. Let's see if I can get this thing to work. Dang it. It's Excuse me. All right. Is it going to work at all? I don't think it's going to work. Okay. Where is my mouse? There it is. All right. So let's go here. Let's go here. Check this. Come on. All right. It's not working. Pen's not working. Well, let's use the mouse then. We'll revert back to using the mouse. The pen's not going to work. All right. So you've got a heat chamber. Okay. A little thing right here. Little heater. Blows the heat into this big old room. So it's going to get pretty hot. You don't want to overstuff this thing. All right. If you're going to use it to use your clothes, to heat your clothes, you want some kind of a rack that you can hang them on. Okay. You don't want to let them just stack. So if you stack your clothes like this, and you have like a shirt and maybe a pair of pants stacked there and maybe another shirt there, and you stack them up in here, the air is going to go, it's going to go around like this. All right. It's going to circle around the stuff. As long as you put it up on, elevate it up, it'll circle around the stuff, but it's not going to get into here, or into here where it needs to get, where the bed bugs are going to go to. So if the bed bugs are on this stuff and you're worried the bed bugs are on this stuff, then what the bed bugs are going to do as soon as it gets hot is they're going to try to get away from the outside, because this part here is going to be hot. So like your heated area, this is going to be really warm right there. This is going to be warm. This is going to be warm. This is going to be warm, because they're all exterior edges that are exposed to the heat. You see? So the heat is going to come here and is going to go around this stuff. All right? So all this airspace is going to be really hot. But in the middle, you're going to have a cool zone in here. Right in here, it's going to be cold. Okay? And so that's where the bed bugs are going to go to. That's where they're going to try to hide. So the way you combat this problem is you hang stuff. So let's say you have a rack in here like this, and you just drape the stuff over top of it, or you hang it. All right? So that way the heat is going to go through and around. All right? And the whole thing is going to get hot. That's what you have to do. All right? You can't just have things stacked up, piled up inside this little heater box. Stuff has got to be loosely in there. It's only really good for small things or very few items at once. And then you heat it for about an hour or so, like you would a dryer, and then you take the stuff out. If you understand what I'm saying, that's what you have to do. If you're going to use one of these boxes. Like I said, the reason I have these on my Amazon store is for people that live in areas where they can't buy chemical. I try to be as inclusive with all methods to get rid of bed bugs as I can that people can do on their own. I'm trying to allow people the ability to avoid hiring somebody, and because you save money. And this is $177 if you've got dry clean only clothing. You may end up with more clothes that could get ruined than what the $177 is. Maybe it's worth it for you to buy one of these little heater boxes. And these are pretty good size. This is a 2-tier 18 cubic feet. So that's a pretty good size box. And you've got to have the space to actually set that thing up in there. But it will kill stuff. Like if you've got them in stuff that won't be damaged by heat. What you got to think about too is the stuff you put in that box, is it actually going to get damaged by heat? Some things can, like with electrical devices. All right, electronics. Not all electronics can be exposed to heat. Like my computer, for example. All right, I got a tower. Some parts in the computer get very, very, very hot, like the processor. They're designed to get really, really, really hot. Other parts of the computer cannot get very hot. And so it can damage components of your electrical devices, like your televisions, your alarm clocks, stuff that you put in there. It may not kill it right away, but it may shorten the life of these very expensive electronics that you have. So I don't recommend putting electronics in them. It would only be good for things like clothing. If you use like comic books or baseball cards or things that you might keep stored under the bed, that you would really risk endangering those items if you go and put them in a heat machine. Photo albums, picture frames, stuff like that. You could ruin these photos. I have seen damage done to people's personal belongings that they never, this is stuff that cannot be replaced. stuff you may have had since childhood that you cannot replace, and you go and you put them in these heat chambers and it ruins them. So they are useful in some instances, but most instances they're not. Dry clean only clothes, yes, they can work for that. But you also run the risk of these real sheer fabrics possibly melting, because a lot of clothing now has polyester and plastic in it. And if that stuff gets too hot, it melts. And it can ruin your clothes. It can singe your clothes, just like a dryer can singe your clothes, which is one of the reasons why some clothes are dry clean only, is because they can get ruined in the high heat. It's not the tumble action. It's the fact that it's in a high heat environment that actually causes the polyethylene to break down and melt and shred and ruin your clothes. And so if it says dry clean only, then these little heater boxes may not even be an option for you either. So, I mean, you got to think about it. Why is the clothing dry clean only? It might be so sheer or so fine or made out of silks and stuff that could be damaged in a high heat environment. And that's why they tell you don't put it in the dryer. It's not about the fact that the dryer is tumbling the clothes. It's the fact that it could actually melt the clothes or catch the clothes on fire based on what the material, what it's actually made out of. So. But those can work for things like stuffed animals. You know, you may not want to put a stuffed animal in a dryer, but you can take a stuffed animal, throw it in there, and heat it up. Probably won't hurt it. But like I said, whenever you start using heat and you start applying heat to your personal belongings, you got to understand the risk of that. You could easily risk damaging your stuff. So, what did you learn, Jennifer Lego? It's a different chemical. So, Phantom is made by the same company that makes Alpine WSG. What is wrong with Phantom? It's a different pesticide. It's not the same thing. Phantom, I've used Phantom. I've used a lot of Phantom. It's not the same pesticide. So, I'll show you. I'll show you the difference. Okay? All right. There's Phantom. Okay? I know it says termiticide, insecticide, but it's the same thing. Same thing. This is the active ingredient. Chlorpheniper. Okay? Let's zoom in. All right? That's the active ingredient. That's the chemical. The chemical name. That's what's in it. All right? Alpine WSG. Is dinotefuran. Tefuran? I don't know how that's pronounced. Dinotefuran? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it's
Dinotefuran?
It would be dinotefuran, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rory's trying to tell me how to pronounce it. All right, he might be right. I don't know. But anyway, that's the active ingredient. So just because they're made by the same company doesn't mean they're the same chemical. They're two different products. Phantom, I hate this shit. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said shit. But Phantom is goopy, gross stuff. Rory, do you like Phantom?
I hate Phantom.
Why do you hate Phantom?
Because it goops up inside of your tank and you're cleaning every 10 minutes.
You take Phantom and you mix it once and you're constantly cleaning your tank all day long. It doesn't stay suspended in water. You have to constantly shake it up. It clumps up really bad. I hate it. It's awful. Alpine doesn't do that. It never does that. Even though the same company makes it, it doesn't do that. It just doesn't. It's good. It's a good chemical. Different. It's different. It's better. It's also newer. Phantom came out in the early 2000s. The Alpine WSG has only been out for several years. But it's better. It's better. I've used them both. So, it's better. What do you know about natural flea killer or natural way? Were you talking about stepping on them? You talking about stepping on them? Squishing them like this? Because natural pesticides don't kill fleas. But this This is an all-natural way to kill fleas. This works. Now, if you want to go through with a flea comb and pick every flea off your animal and do this, you kill them. You'll be there for probably several months doing that, but you can kill them that way. But there ain't no natural chemicals that kill fleas. Not well. Like neem oil, what are other things that people use for fleas? Garlic, onion, feeding that kind of course, that stuff's poisonous to your pets anyway, but it's just not very effective for fleas. Diatomaceous earth, it's not effective. Not effective. Salt, people use salt. So, Alicia, what happens if you use salt to kill fleas? What happens if you treat your house with salt to kill fleas? Tell the audience what you did.
So, I moved into a brand new apartment that was infested with fleas. And I don't like to use a lot of chemicals. And
the exterminator's wife doesn't like chemicals.
Yeah, we weren't married at the time, and I was...
Well, that was your problem.
Yeah, and I got online trying to figure out something that I could do, because they weren't able to... I didn't want to call the company, because I didn't want them to think that I brought them in. I don't know why, because there was nothing, literally nothing in my house. I hadn't even moved any furniture in. And so, I just wanted them gone fast, and I read online that if you did, you could use baking soda, like the carpet sprinkle, and leave it there and vacuum it up. And someone said, oh, you should use salt. So I went out, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to clean this apartment before I move in anyway. So I sprinkled out the baking powder. That did nothing, except for when I vacuumed them, aggravated them, and they were 100 times worse, which I understand.
But what happened when you use salt?
So then I put salt on it, and I think we were gone, overnight, because we weren't living there yet. Came back, and the carpets were sopping wet because
they were soaking wet.
Because Virginia is very humid and salt attracts moisture.
Yes, because Virginia's very humid and salt attracts moisture.
Yeah.
So when she salted her carpets, it caused the salt absorbed water in the air, because Virginia's about what? 70-80% humidity. It's pretty miserable in the summer, and that's when fleas are the worst.
I had the carpet clean the whole floor, so
Yeah.
now I'm like, shit.
Yeah, so you had to carpet clean everything. Did it kill the fleas though?
Yes.
It did kill the fleas.
Yes.
It did kill the fleas, but it also caused moisture and mildew and stuff in the carpet.
It was really bad.
It was really bad.
Carpet clean it. It was miserable.
But hey, mildew is also all natural. I mean, if you want mildew and mold in your carpet, that's also all natural. There are a lot of all natural things that are actually all naturally painful to you. Arsenic is all natural. Asbestos is natural. Let's see, what are other natural things? Salt. Salt is actually, if you take the LD50 value of a pesticide and you compare it to the LD50 value of salt, sodium chloride, you're more likely to die from salt exposure than you are from the pesticides that I use. The pesticides I use are actually safer than a tablespoon of salt. They just are. They're less toxic. How to wash out a sprayer that has had crossfire and where to drain the water. Let me see. Oh, lead. Jennifer Lego says lead is all natural. Cadmium is all natural. There's lots of things that are all natural that are actually a lot more toxic than pesticides. When you think that you're gonna do something and do something all natural in your house and it's gonna protect you, you know what's all natural? Bugs. Bugs are natural. The hantavirus that mice and rats carry, that's natural. The diseases, Rocky Mountain spotted fever, Lyme's disease, black widow spiders, they're all natural. What you've got to draw the line somewhere. You got to draw a line somewhere where, your safety is more important than a chemical that won't hurt you. If people would do their research and actually read the SDS of these pesticides, they would realize they're not that toxic. They're really not that toxic if they understood how chemicals work. But people hear the word chemical and they're automatically afraid. I'm not. So a lot of people will, when you take the classes I have to take to keep my license, the professors, the guys will get up there and they're talking at the front of the class, and they're telling you all the politically correct things to say. And they're saying, whatever you do, don't tell your customer you're using chemicals. Tell them you're using products. And I lean over to the guy beside me and I'm like, am I now a salon? Am I now supposed to pretend I'm doing somebody's hair? Because when I was a child, my mom would go and get her hair done. And they would put hair products on her hair when they'd clean it. Whether it was a shampoo or a conditioner or, whatever. They would use products on her hair. A chemical, a pesticide, in my opinion, should not be called a product. I think that's hiding the fact that you're using a pesticide, and it's trying to scare people away from the word chemical. There are harmful chemicals in the world, like bleach. Bleach is a harmful chemical. Most people have a gallon of bleach in their house. Bleach is a harmful chemical. By itself, it's not that bad. But if you mix it with ammonia, which is also a chemical, you could die from poisonous gas. All right? There are things that are toxic that you kind of know, well, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to take a pesticide and spray myself because that's stupid. There are some things you just don't do. I'm not going to spray myself with bleach either. There are things you just don't do that common sense will tell you don't do those things. And if you follow the label, like I say right here, when I set up my stream, I've got that warning right there. Every one of my videos got that same warning. When I close down my stream, I've got that same warning. You see, you can see that. I do that because I want people to understand that there are dangers at using pesticides. They are designed to kill things. They're not designed to kill you. They're designed to kill bugs. And so if you're using them properly with the right attention and care, you're not going to hurt yourself and you're not going to hurt your children. You're not going to hurt your pets. But if you go and break the label and you're like, well, this label says I need to mix 1 ounce to a gallon, so I'm going to mix 5 because that's not strong enough. Well, then you're going to run the risk of making yourself sick. Don't do that. Follow the label and do what the label says, and you're not going to poison yourself, and you're not going to poison your children, and you're not going to poison your pets. It's not in these chemical companies' best interest to actually poison you. They don't want to kill their customers. So it's deceptive to tell the customer anything that's not the truth. Exactly. Or to lure them away from something that isn't true. So like if you're giving them the impression that you're using a product and it's so safe and it's not, they may get the impression that you're not going to do anything to even help their problem. A lot of these guys won't even spray pesticides in their house, so they're so damn afraid of lawsuit. But the truth is the label protects you. If you read the label and you're abiding by the label, you're not going to get hurt. The label's the law. The label protects you. So, it has been 2 hours. This is the longest I've streamed in probably, 2 months? I got to go to bed. So, I'm going to get off of here. And I might see you next week. I don't know. I'll talk to my wife about it. And I'll let you know. Subscribe to the channel. If you're not already, subscribe. Because I do have a section right here. I was going to tell you the community tab right here. So this is my community tab. I actually have a vote going on right here right now. And it's a question I actually posed last week. I said, so I have a question for everyone. Most of the channel knows that I stream live every Thursday night after 9. But I wanted to ask if maybe once a month or so, if I stream midday, if that would work. 3 out of 4 days, I work on Thursdays, but sometimes I'm available early. So let me know if once a month, an early day works better for some people. Actually, the vote is pretty much almost unanimous to stream once a month midday. But if you want to vote on that, the reason I have this vote there is because I have a lot of people that watch me on YouTube that actually live in Europe and European countries, and it's very hard for them to watch a stream or catch a stream live. So I thought that I would actually try to stream at least once a month midday for people that can't catch me at night, like people in the U.S. and Canada. And so if that's in your, if you like the idea of me maybe getting on earlier and not being on so late at night, I like that idea because then I can go to bed on time. But, if it works for you, then go vote. But this is where I keep people updated that watch my YouTube. And so I will usually just post a community thread here. If I decide to stream Thursday night, I will actually drop a text here and say, hey, look for me at this time. Or if I decide not to stream on Thursday on Thanksgiving, then I'll put a thread there and they say, hey, happy Turkey Day, everybody, whatever. I'll see you next week. So subscribe if you haven't already. Keep up with the community chat, and I will see you in the next one. So y'all have a real good night. I appreciate everybody who called in tonight. I appreciate all the questions. Appreciate all the donations. Thank you, Jennifer and Kenju and everybody who donated tonight. I really appreciate it. I don't need that. I just like to help everybody out. But anyway, y'all have a good one. I appreciate it, and I will see you later. Thanks a lot. Bye.